Hello in the next episode. In today's video I'm going to solder Instinct chip to the Nintendo Switch OLED. So let's do this. Okay, so my customer asked me to install an Instinct chip in his OLED. So let's have a look what we've got inside. So this is what we've got. This is the Instinct chip. It's very fast, and we've got also the ribbon tapes to solder this to the APU. We've got NAND memory adapter, that's 0. I'm not going to use this tape, it's useless. And we've got also micro USB port to update the firmware. And we've got 1TB SD card. It's already prepared, SD card. So first thing what I'm going to do, I'm just going to turn on the switch. Alright, so by the way, this is the switch from Steve, from Liverpool. He dropped me this console a few days ago and asked me to solder, the new Instinct chip in his OLED. And he provides SD card. So let me check now what version of firmware we've got. And this version of firmware is 14.1.2. So we need to update it. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go to the internet. I'm going to connect to my Wi-Fi network. And when my Wi-Fi network is connected, I'm going to put in, the SD card, update the console, restart it. Alright, you don't need to go to the system and to do system update. You just need to put your SD card in, because now we are connected to the internet. And as you can see, the system update is required to use this memory SD card. So let's do this. Alright, so let's check now if we can see the data management, our micro SD card, and we can see now I need to go to the system and check the system version, and the system version is 16.0.1. So this is the latest edition at the moment. So now we need to turn this off and remove the SD card. And next step is to disassemble the console. Alright, so we just need to disconnect the connectors, antennas, Wi-Fi antennas and Bluetooth, and it's done. And we've got some more screws. So now we need to disconnect the battery. Alright, so now we disconnected the battery and now we are safe. So we can disconnect all connectors. Alright, so first thing, just need to remove this heatsink. We need to get rid of this fan, because it's gonna be much easier without this fan. One more connector, the speaker connector. And yes. Alright, so now we've got motherboard out. So we need to get rid of the two shields. The APU shield and the eMMC shield. eMMC shield is very easy. It's just like this. And I can see straight away that this is the SK Hynix. I don't like this chip. This chip is one of the worst. Because, I could see only two types of the chips in Nintendo Switch OLEDs. One is SK Hynix and another one is the Samsung one. And the Samsung one is the best. The fastest, the best. Alright, it's always the best to start removing this shield from this side, because on the other side we've got many components. We can rip them off by accident. Now we need to wiggle it a bit, left, right, but be careful, do not do this too much, because here we've got one capacitor, one coil, and the IC. And if you wiggle it too much, you can rip this off. So be careful, do it very gentle. See? Easy. Now it's the time to clean the thermal paste from the shield and from the APU. Alright, so now I need to bend it back. I just need to make this straight. Some of the points, like this. Alright, looks good? Looks good. Alright, I will come back to this shield soon. Now I need to clean the thermal paste from the APU. Now I'm using my very soft toothbrush to clean the thermal paste between the small capacitors on the APU. Well, it was very, very easy. And the APU looks like a brand new, actually. So now I'm going to try that ribbon tape here, as it should go like this. Okay, so it looks okay. Now I'm going to mark. Okay, so we need to cut out this shield here, also here. And it's okay now. And also we need to cut off here, between those 2 points. Alright, so we've got this APU shield is cut out in this point. Another point is here. So this is already prepared. What I always do, I can do this now. I can stick, you know, the double side tape like this. So it's done. The metal shield is done. All right. So next step is I need to cut off this metal frame in this place to get access to the point D. Okay, it's done. Now we've got access to the point D. And also we need to remove this corner. And this is it. Alright, so let's go under the microscope and have a look at the point D. So now I'm going to scratch this point. This is our point D. You need to be very, very gentle, because you don't want to scratch this area, because this area is a ground. And if you scratch both of them and apply the solder later, you can make a breach. And if you make a breach, you can damage the NAND memory, APU, you can damage many components on the motherboard. So make sure this area, the point D, is only scratch, not the area around it. Alright, we'll come back to this point later. Now we need to sort out our eMMC adapter. First, what I'm going to do, I'm going just to take my eMMC adapter, and what I'm going to do, I'm going just to apply the solder. Alright, so now we need to apply blocks here, and it should be alright. And now we need to try to push under the eMMC. Alright, so as you can see, this is supposed to be 4 anchor points, you know, NAND adapter, but look how far away it's from this cap. And no, I don't like this adapter, but should be alright for this job. Okay, so now let's go into diode mode and let's check that point. We can see any readings, and this is correct reading. So now I'm going to use hot air. I'm going to start from 300 degrees, maybe 280 degrees. You know, my hot air station has got is limited to 200 unit airflow, but I'm going to set up for 100. And what I need to do also, just, you know, as you can see, I remove the tip, so I'm using my hot air without the tip. And also I need to place this into my holder. All right, now it's safe. Just need to focus. Hot air 280, and we need to do this kind of movement. We just need to heat it up a little bit, because this chip is specific one, like I said at the beginning. All right, that's fine. Now 300 degrees, the same. Okay, and now 350 and 400 degrees. This is the last step, and that's it. So now we need to wait until it's cooled down. So don't touch this, just wait 5 minutes. Yeah, like I said, you can go to eat something, leave it for 5 minutes and come back. All right, so now the temperature is okay. Let's measure this point. Still got some readings, and we've got the same readings. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go under the microscope and solder those 2 points. So we need to apply some flux here, the same here. Alright, let's measure it once again. We still got the readings, so it's very good. So next step is to apply the solder on the point D80, and we've done it. Also, now I'm going to solder my jumper wire to the point D80. Alright, just need to help him a little bit. Let's apply some flux again, because this connection has to be very good quality connection. Results are still good. So let me grab, you know, the eMMC shield. And you don't have to worry that you can cut this wire out, because, you know, there's a quite big hole there. This cable is actually loose. And if we are on the same side, we can just solder point B. Just need to be careful on the resistors. Let's apply some flux. Good, that's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. I always clean every single connection just after. This flux is no clean flux, but you know, I always do this. This is a like good habit, you know, just to leave everything clean. Okay, so we are on the other side of the board. So we need to solder the jumper wire here, because we've got here 3.3 volts. Let's apply some flux. If I bridge them, there is no really matter because they are on the same line. So you can bridge them how many times you want. I think that is okay. So cleaning. Let's solder the ground point. The ground point is here. Let's clean this. Okay, and we've got a few more points. So now I'm changing the tip in my soldering iron. Right, so this is my tip now. And I'm going to solder point D. Point D is here. It's already scratched. Let's apply some flux and solder that point. Alright, now it's solid. Alright, so now I'm going to check this point just in case for the future reference, and we've got similar value, similar readings that on the point D80. We've got 0.68. It's good. Alright, I forgot to do this, but every single time when you reflow the eMMC and when you solder the D80 point, you just need to check if the motherboard is still good. If you've done good job, you will see readings ending on 0. If there is problem with the connection with the eMMC and the motherboard, it will take 0.05 amps. So let's check this now. And goes to 0, you see? So this tells me that everything is fine with the console. So I need to flip it over, you see? Plug one more time, and it's perfect. Again, flip it over. But if it's stuck on 0.05 amps, that means there's a problem with the eMMC connection, and you need to reflow it one more time, or maybe you need to remove it, reball it, solder permanently D80 point, and solder the chip back. So in this case, the console is still working, the motherboard is good. Alright, so we've got almost all points. Now let's come back to our point D, and our point D, just need to shape it like this, because we don't want this jumper wire to go to the ground point, and we need to secure it by the soldering mask. Don't worry about this resistor. Now UV light, and what you can do, you can use your hot air, 140 degrees. Okay, should be alright. So the next point is point A. So point A is this resistor. Alright, done. Cleaning. It's soldered properly. Alright, so next step is to solder the tape, ribbon tape to the APU. But before I do this, just need to do always the same trick. Okay, and the other side the same. Alright, so first what I'm going to do, I'm going just to solder this point. Alright, so now it's stable. So next step is to solder this tape to the capacitors. Alright, so let's clean this and have a look at this. Alright, for me it looked good. So now the multimeter in the beep mode, continuity mode, black probe on the ground, and let's check. So we've got 13 ohms, it's okay. 0, 0. The same 13 ohms and 0. That's perfect. So next step, I'm going to apply the solder paste and put back our shield. Okay, so this is done. Next step, connect the tape, ribbon tape to this connector. And we just need to peel off this film. And it's done. Now we need to solder all points directly to this board. Okay, so let's go under the microscope. Alright, so I'm going to start solder the ground pin. So let's apply some flux on the other points. I will clean this later with the other points. So now let's solder point C. Flux again. Right. And let's solder point A. Right, beautiful. And we've got 3 points left. 3.3, D and B. 3.3 first. Okay, so 3.3 soldered. So point D and point B left. So let's solder point D now. Alright, so point B left. Where is point B? Point B is here. This point is a point B. Next to the diode. And I think my tip too big, but no, it should be right. So this is the last wire. More flux. I could leave it like this, but I prefer to make sure this is done properly. So something like this. This is really nice. I think I need to use a little bit more pressure. Okay, now should be right. Okay, so let's clean. Alright, so now let's set up the multimeter in the diode mode. Black probe on the ground. So let's measure this. This is not correct. This is not correct. Not correct. Only point C is correct. Ground, point B. Where is the problem? This is not correct. Something is wrong. The point D is okay now. Now it's grounded. What's wrong with it? Why this point is grounded? But I know it's not grounded, yeah? Alright, so let's start from the soldering point 3.3 now. Because I'm pretty sure it's not grounded. This chip hasn't got, you know, proper isolation, I think. Or maybe this is the ground. Let me just desolder only 3.3 volts. Let's check now. Black probe on the ground. Let's put it here. And we got 0. Oh, you can't see because my camera is playing up. So now this point is grounded. This point is not grounded now. Point A is grounded. Point C is not grounded. You know, this is actually very, very poor design of this product. And what I can say, if you solder too much on this point, it will be grounded. Yeah, so now we need to remove this because, you know, let's check now. Just wondering why this camera doesn't work, you know. It was working fine. Alright, we've got a picture now. Okay, so now, as you can see here, I've resoldered this point and now we've got 0.9. But you see, this is low quality of the product. So here is the ground. So we need to be very, very careful when you solder those points because they can be grounded. I'm pretty sure this point A, you see, 3.3, now it's not grounded. And this is the source. Just show you that it's not grounded, you see? Everything is fine. This chip is a poor quality product and it's got poor quality pads. So this value is correct. This value is now correct, but I need to solder the wire. And this value is not correct. Point C is okay. But as you can see here, if I touch here, it's 0. It's ground. So yeah, very poor quality, you know, product. So you need to be very careful when you solder those points. And always check value before you plug in the battery. This is very important. Let's check now, point A. And it's still grounded, you see? Unbelievable. This point is still grounded. So it wasn't designed, you know, to solder the points directly to the chip. It was designed to use the ribbon tape that I haven't used. And now we've got some problems, yeah? So I'm going to clean this point. That's why the price is very low for Instinct. Super fast. It's got, this is like no good product, yeah? And, you know, I still think it's going to be grounded. I don't think now it's not grounded. Oh, alright, so now it's not grounded. Okay, so now let's start from this point. I think I need to use the solder mask to cover these points because, you know, it doesn't make any sense. We have to measure it very precisely. Otherwise, you put the probe on the ground. Okay, looks promising. Point D also. And we need to solder back point A. Let's check now. And it's okay now. Okay, once again, multimeter in the diode mode, black probe on the ground. And we've got good readings, but you can't really see because the picture flickers. Yes. Yes. I can see good results, yes. Yes. The last point, point B. Point B is already perfect, so it's not grounded, nothing. Alright, so now it's time to assemble this. Alright, so now I'm going to put some screws. Remember, you've got two types of the silver screws. You've got like this, and you've got the longer one, yeah? So the longest one, we just need to use to screw here. One here. We need to put here, here, and here short ones. Right, now I'm going to put back one. And now what we need to do, we just need to measure again the values. Because, you know, during the assembling process, oh, I forgot to connect the fan connector. Because, you know, during the assembly process, we could damage something by accident, break the connection, or we could short it something. So that's why we always need to check it twice. So the multimeter in the beep mode, right? This is the 3.3. Good, good. This is point D. Very good. Point A. And point A is good. Now we've got point C. Good. Ground is good. And we've got OL. But I've just noticed that it was 1.4. Alright. Alright, so now we can plug the battery and press the power button. Alright, so now it's glitching. I can see that it's very fast. It's training, it's training and glitching. Ta-da! We've got Instinct NX already installed. Now SD card. Okay. So I'm going to connect the card reader with SD card. Alright, I disconnect battery. Plug the battery. Power button. And we are in Hecate. Alright, so let's set up the data. We don't need to do this. Alright, and let's go to the custom firmware. Here we go. We got system version 16.0.1 and atmosphere is 1.5.1. Alright, so the job is done. We've got some custom apps. I can't find my controller, you know, the Joy-Con to attach this and to get out of this menu. But you know what, to be honest with you, you know, the glitching time, you know, the loading time to the, you know, to the home screen, it's no difference for me. It's only poor quality, you know, PCB board. Yeah. Alright, so one more time, pressing the power button, and we are in Hecate. It's alright, you know, it's cheaper than normal HW Fly, and it's the same, it's, you know, the speed is exactly the same. Loading speed is exactly the same. Maybe, you know, different games will give different results, but we will see. Alright, Steve, so as you could see, I've already, you know, soldered the Instinct chip to your OLED, and your switch works perfectly fine. It's no problem at all. What I can say about the quality of the product of the Instinct, low quality product, as you could see on the video. You need to be careful when you solder the certain points because you can make easily the breach. But I've already sorted it out and the switch is ready for you for collection. Okay, please like it, subscribe, and see you next time.